everybody, Jason Tundro here, and I am the game master for Song of Ice and Fire role-playing, the Saga of House Tanner, and the link to our website is going to be in the show notes. We are picking up with a long ongoing adventure in the Wyvern Wood, where all kinds of shit has gone down in the last few episodes. And we took the Christmas off, the holidays off, but we're back in the saddle with two casualties amongst the player characters, two other PCs scattered in the woods running for their lives, and an army coming to with no knowledge of what's been going on in the forest. All right, so Garrett, introduce yourself and your characters.
I'm Lord Ricard of House Tanner, Lord of House Tanner.
I'm Deborah. I used to be Sir Benjamin. Unfortunately, there was just a minor scuffle last time, and Sir Benjamin did not survive. So I will probably be playing an NPC this week and come up with a new character for next.
I think you killed like 4 men before you went down.
I think it was 4 or 5.
I think so. And you know, I went back and I looked at the battle and I was thinking like, and I realized that if you had had your shield, you could have probably taken an unlimited number of footmen. Because I
would take them all.
The bandits would have had to roll a 13 on 2d6 to hit you.
If you had like somehow gotten my bow into my hands before you decided to be an idiot.
No. All right, moving on. James, why don't you introduce yourself for everyone?
Hey, I used to be a very awesome archer. Now I will be a very awesome NPC this episode, and possibly a very, very awesome character here coming up future. No hard feelings against somebody other as a player, but that character could go die in a fire.
James played Corlin Jast for us all.
Yes. 1 tier.
Tanner.
I'm Tanner. I'm playing Will Tanner, the heir to the house, and I'm currently working on my cardio out in the woods, just running for my life.
Di is playing Maina the Falconer, who is also escaping with her life, barely living, but at least the Lord Tanner is alive, so that's a win. And on the side also, Lady Tanner, Jenna, who's also a Frey.
Yeah, and Jenna is actually your PC. You're just graciously taking over the reins of what we affectionately in this campaign refer to as red shirts. Minor characters that allow everyone to play something when the group is split up, which is really common when you've got a couple of people playing royal family members and a couple of other people playing non-family members. You know, like the royal family of House Tanner is not going to go adventuring in the woods. So
possibly soon to carry on the red shirt tradition of bumping off Maina to only have Lady Tanner.
Maybe. We'll see. Maina is injured and wounded, but she's got will, so you two are a force to be reckoned with. All right, so let's pick up with Will and Maina. The two of you are fleeing South Hall, which is the lair of about 50 or 60 quote-unquote bandits, by which I mean about a dozen bandits and their families. And many of those bandits were killed in the battle that raged when Sir Benjamin decided to make a break for it, or to distract everybody and try to let Will make a break for it. Or
it worked.
We're not exactly sure what Benjamin had in mind, and he's not around to tell us anymore, but it was a heroic last stand that resulted in a couple of people dying, including not only Benjamin himself and Corlin, the master of the hunt, and Ricard Tanner's oldest and dearest friend, but also the kid. What was his name?
Oh God, yeah.
Stefan
Longarm, who bravely tried to basically take out the boss and take an arrow for him at least, and ended up killed and also in the battle. And all of this is because the heroes were captured by the bandits of the Wyvern Wood, led by Durin the Red. So, Will, it's night, and you are fleeing through the forest, which is incredibly dense. There's underbrush and unstable ground. You have no light source. And every time you descend from the hills into any kind of valley, there's a dense fog that makes it essentially impenetrable to see.
And if I'm correct, we have like none of our equipment.
No, you don't have any of your weapons or armor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, however, you do have one thing. Manus Falcon.
Yes.
Manus Falcon is following you. You recalled it as because it was helping Benjamin distract the guards. But yeah, you don't have your weapons or armor. And you are now. We have a very simple map for those of you that are still that are following us along. And what I will do is I will briefly. Let me see. I think I've got it in the drive here. Okay, not really. Trying to get it where if I can pull it up on my screen and then I'll just share it. Here we go. So this is the forest. You guys can all see this?
Yep.
Okay. So if you this ruin here in square 1008, right on the edge of the forest, and it's about, remember, these hexes are 3 miles across. So the ruin is about a mile and a half from the edge of the woods, and that's where you were all. The yellow star is where you were all captured and taken prisoner, and you were taken to the ruins here. So Will, Will and Maina, you guys are together, and Maina's good in the forest, but she's wounded and injured, and so she's got huge penalties on everything. But the game does not penalize your movement speed. There's also this black line that leads away is a road, the old forest road, which you don't know the full details of the road because you never followed it completely, but you know that it leads vaguely north. And then there are trails, bandit paths, that lead both to the east and the west, and you know that they lead to other old ruined fortifications or outposts. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm Maina, honestly, I don't know what I'm doing out here. I think we need to stay away from any roads and try and not be seen. And I think we unfortunately can't stop. I think we need to travel. And our best bet is probably to try and get back or close enough to where we might run into someone for which my status may be persuasive. So I don't know if you would be able to get our bearings and figure out where south is.
I agree that heading south towards the river in as much haste as we can make, and I apologize for slowing you down, my lord. I can certainly point your direction and let you go at your own speed, but I also hesitate to leave you alone.
I hesitate as well to leave me alone.
So
I think our only chance right now is you. If I could climb on your back and you could just like,
with the Falcons
really at full health.
With the Falcons' aid, let's find the river.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is going to be a survival, I believe, is our check.
I've got survival and orientation.
The orientation is your specialization. You can absolutely use that, but you have some penalties because of your injuries.
Yep.
So you lose 1 die from your wound, and you lose 2 points from your injury. So what would you normally be rolling for your orientation?
Survival 4, Orient 1.
Okay, so you'd be rolling 5, keeping 1. So now you're rolling 1 less die. So you're rolling 4, keeping 1. But then you have to subtract 2 from the total.
Rolling 4 and keeping 1.
I'm sorry. Rolling 4, keeping, instead of rolling 5 and keeping 4, you're rolling 4 and keeping 3.
Got it. Okay.
So roll 4, keep 3, and then subtract 2 from that total.
All right. 1, 2. Let's see.
Will, do you have any survival?
I have 2.
That's
Well-
going to be a 10 minus 2 is 8.
Yeah, okay. All right. No, you're lost. You're lost. You guys, you know where south is at first. It's not hard to know where south is at first because the hall itself points south, and the hall is lit with fires. So at first, you can put the hall behind you and start moving south. Then the catch is going to be what direction do you actually end up going, right? Because you end up getting turned around in the woods. So,
I think south is this way.
yeah, exactly.
Sounds good.
That's good. All right. So, Will, why don't you roll a die 6 for me?
3.
Okay. By sheer luck, you actually end up going randomly in the right direction.
Woohoo!
But let's figure out your pace. Normally you would be moving 1 hex. Let me find my notes on this. Hold on, I'll be right back. Oh no, here I go. Normally it would be 3 hours to move 1 hex. So that's probably fair. Let's get some rolls. I think there's an endurance skill, isn't there?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Why don't I get an endurance roll from the two of you?
So endurance 3 means I'm rolling 2,
Yep, and then subtracting 2.
but it's still keeping 2.
Yep.
Okay. 9.
Oh, good. That's good.
6 for me.
6 for you. Okay. To the surprise of no one, the uninjured lord of the house is actually the guy falling behind and holding you back.
Tripping all over those horrible things in the ground. Branches, twigs.
Mina, Will is basically useless in the forest. He wasn't lying. All that shit he just said to you, yeah, he was honest. So you don't make very good time. Will is exhausted and having a hard time keeping up. And so it takes you longer than you anticipated. But let me see. Do either of you have any kind of stealth or hiding ability because you are being chased by bandits?
Mana has stealth with sneak.
Roll it. Roll stealth, and you can take the sneak bonus.
All right.
Will has to have some kind of stealth or hide because he's never around when I need him to do work.
That's called being a son.
All right. So that's still roll 3, I guess.
Yeah.
Still have. Oh, that's bad. 9?
Oh, no, nine's good enough. Okay. So you have one advantage, and that's that it is impenetrably dark and the woods are covered in fog. And so as long as you don't make a noise that attracts too much attention, it's basically impossible for anybody to follow you. But traveling at night is even harder than usual. So your travel rate slows to about 5 hours to cross 1 hex, maybe even slower. So it's probably about dawn by the time the two of you emerge from the forest, right along the southern edge of the forest, along the riverbank. If I share my screen again. This partial hex down here right underneath South Hall is actually wooded. It's actually forested. I just didn't have any way to make half forest hexes. But you managed to randomly, you got lost, but just kept on going anyway. And you emerge from the forest. You find the river's edge. South on the just directly south from South Hall, right along the river, somewhere along that half hex, which you can see as being plains. It's not actually plains; it's forest, but you're somewhere along that southern edge of the woods, and you can actually look across the river and see as dawn comes up the road, and farther along Tannerton. And as you look, you see that there's a large body of men, maybe a couple of hundred, crossing at the ferry a few miles away.
I think I know who that is. We need to signal them down. I'm assuming they don't see us at this point.
No. You're standing on the edge of the forest at the river at about dawn, and you're tired, hungry, and exhausted. And Tanner, Will, you're no expert, but it looks to you like Maina's injuries are very severe. She needs to be looked at by the Meister, not running through the forest all night long.
Yeah. Is there so this force, I mean, I would be familiar enough to know where they're going to cross.
Yeah, they're crossing at the ferry. If you remember, we have a map of, let me get everybody a link to our generic map. Let's see, we have a map of the Trident, which you can find at this link. That's on our website. And you can pull up the map of the Trident, and you can see at a larger scale where you are. You are about 3 miles from Tannerton, about 1.5 miles from the road, but you're on the wrong side of the river. And the forces of House Tanner, which are coming to your rescue, are currently crossing the ferry, which you can see down the river about 3 miles, maybe more like 5, about 5 miles down the river. And about 1.5 hours travel under good conditions.
Yeah, I don't know what you think, Maina, but we need to, I mean, they're going to have some sort of medical support there. If we can make this last final push, meet them at the ferry, and get you treated immediately, and also fill my father in on what's been going on. I think that's what we got to do, and we can follow the river.
We've already made great time, my lord. I hope I don't slow you down further, but let's get you back to safety.
Sounds like a reason for another endurance roll.
Oh, God.
All right. That's right. I'm keeping 2 and subtracting 2.
Yep.
8 for me.
7.
Okay. You both fail. So you both take, Will, you've got 1 level of exhaustion. No, sorry, Will, you have 2 levels of exhaustion. Maina, you have 1. That functions as additional penalty dice until you get rest. Okay. And the two of you stagger along the river towards the oncoming forces.
Maina would like to send the falcon towards the ferry with the instruction of make a lot of noise.
Okay, sure. Okay. Lord Tanner.
Yes, sir.
You are riding ahead of your army.
A little bit, yep.
And you brought basically your entire army, which is about 220 men, including your cavalry, but they did not bring their horses with them. So they're not nearly as useful, but they're a useful honor guard or additional reserve force, at least. You got 100 archers and the 100 city guard of Tannerton.
Weren't we going to leave the horsemen to guard since they weren't going to be as good in the forest?
He said, and I quote, "At this point, I need numbers."
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He took everything.
Okay.
And your forces behind you include your wife and the Meister. Give me, well, no, you don't need to. As you're riding at the front of your army, and you had a little bit of space between you and the rest of the armies. They're like 100 yards behind you or 100 paces behind you. You see a falcon fly overhead, and you recognize it as Maina's falcon. It's got jessets, you know, the things that tie onto its claws, and you recognize them because they're your house colors.
All right.
And this is your muse, so it flies past you, and it like flies towards the rest of the army, and starts sort of circling around them, and starts to come in for a landing. And this is where I get to have Di play with her own characters. So, Di, you see the falconer's falcon fly in towards you. Do you have any kind of animal handling or skill?
No, Jenna does not. Okay. Just the base 2. The Maester would, though.
Yeah, the Maester has a little bit. So as it flies in, he sort of raises his arm up because he was a squire and training to become a knight before he became a Maester. And he's a little under the weather. He's coughing and looking a little ill, but he raises his arm up, and the falcon lands on it, and he says, "This must be a good sign. She must be near. She wouldn't. Her falcon would not travel too far from her. We should alert the Lord."
And Jenna will spur her horse.
Okay.
She took her horse, so she'll spur up to Lord Tanner.
Okay. He's up there by himself, looking moody.
My lord, Maester and I agree that this could be a good sign that the falconer is near. With more information at the very least, hopefully more. What are your orders, my lord?
This looks like a good time, actually, for Lord Tanner to spot 2 bedraggled figures.
Yeah, I was getting that. Yes, well, if they sent the hawk here, they must be able to see us. So send a couple men along the river to look towards the forest. And I'll also look and see if I can find them.
All right. Well, so scouts run off at a sprint, and within about an hour or so, Will and Maina are reunited with the rest of the family and the army.
Will, what happened? It's good to see you.
Believe me, the feeling is mutual. First things first, Maina is in dire need of help. She's been wounded pretty gravely. There was a battle, and I'm sorry to report that we encountered what his name's Dugan?
Dugan the Red. Yeah.
We encountered Dugan the Red. We were captured, and we attempted an escape, and in the melee, Benjamin and Corlin are both dead. Only myself and Maina ended up surviving, and Stefan Longarm is gone as well. So, yeah, I think we need to get Maina some medical support, and I think Dugan is going to be prepared. They have quite a large force. He's a formidable individual, and they're holed up just north of the ruins. I'm not sure how many men. I think Maina may have a better estimation.
You saw about 15 bandits before your breakout attempt. That's fighting men. But then you saw about another 50 women and children and non-combatants.
Yeah. And I don't think, I'm not sure. I managed to negotiate a bit with Dugan, but I think at this point there is no negotiation. I think he's going to go down fighting is my bet.
So, all right. Well, I summoned the Meister to take care of.
Yep. Okay. Meister takes Maina and says she has to get. I have to get her back home immediately. She might die by dusk.
Okay.
Jenna would like to suggest that now that young Lord Tanner is safe and sound, depending on the will of the gentleman, with the master's, with the Lord's permission, we might take a couple men back to the manor, and see to Maina, and also see to young Lord Tanner. And not spoken, Jenna will also be bringing back the cart of supplies and the gold.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
on possible like bribery and relief supplies and stuff like that.
We'll do that.
So I look at Will's hand. If I remember correctly, he kept the ring.
Yes.
And I say, I noticed you managed to keep the ring. Very good. So,
I have some skills when it comes. He tried to take it, but yeah, I worked a little magic on him, but it ended up getting a little spoiled there when Benjamin took down probably 4 or 5 of his men.
So you said they had a lot of men. How many do you think there was?
There's at least 15, at least. But I imagine he can muster more because as we were traveling through,
yeah,
he seems to have pockets of people.
Yeah,
many of them are civilians, but I could imagine they convert pretty easily into a fighting force when needed.
Yeah. You were struck by how densely populated the woods are. Actually, there was like little camps and cabins and homes in every hex you traveled through.
All right. So I think you look exhausted.
Yeah, I would love to support here, but I think at this point I may be a liability in any kind of fight.
Very good. Why don't you head back with the others?
We'll take
All
it.
right.
Maina will ask the maester if there's any kind of rough parchment or charcoal or anything to draw a quick map.
Sure. Now you have some maps, although they were probably with. Actually, you were the orienter, so you have like that sample map that you got that I was showing earlier of the area of the region. You have a copy of that map that you and Corlin were using to navigate the forest.
Just also to draw out like where they were being held and the actual like interior of the ruins where they encountered the group.
You quickly sketch out essentially a broken rectangle because it's just a square hall with ruins. And you sketch out sort of where, like, there were guards with dogs around each wall, and the main camp was inside. And Lord Tanner, this gives you a basic kind of idea of the type of fortification, the ruins that they might be holed up in.
All right.
And she'll relinquish the map.
Yep.
All
and
right.
then Maina is promptly dosed up with milk of the poppy and goes unconscious. And the Meister's going to take her back home.
Luckily, we have a wagon full of nice, soft stuff to play her on.
Right. We just throw her on the wagon.
Yep. There you go. So Jenna's going to return with Maina and Will if Will goes back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to head back.
All right. Well, let me see what the army's going to do, and then we'll know, because this is all on you guys. Okay, so, Ricard, it's you and 220 men.
You have your son.
Oh, yeah, but time for the smackdown. The fact that my son escaped does not let me give him any more leeway. All right, so we're going to go into the forest towards the castle.
All right, so you reach the edge of the woods. You travel along the river for about another a few miles. And at the designated spot where Maina showed you they are due south of South Hall, you begin heading into the forest. It's slow going in the woods. You guys are on alert, expecting an attack at any moment. You're surprised by how dense the forest is. You probably have never been in here. And the fog is unrelenting. Progress slows to a crawl, but by afternoon, your scout, the archers, tell you that they think you are approaching South Hall.
All right. I want the archers to stay in at least groups of 3.
Yep.
And I want them to find position where they can cover our back.
Okay, so what we're going to do is, if you guys would, all of you, this is a link to a very simple map. I say simple, I mean very, very simple. Each square is 10 yards. And you can see South Hall up on the top, about 20 yards by 30 yards. So 60 by 90 feet is the ruins of South Hall. It's positioned on a small hill, a rise, and there's hills to the southeast and southwest. And everything in between those hills is a vaguely Y-shaped veil filled with fog. Everybody with me so far?
Yep.
All right, so Garrett, let's say that this blue square down here is your soldiers, the city guard.
All right.
Okay. You can actually, I believe you can actually move that. You should be able to edit this page yourself. And you can put that blue square somewhere else. You can try and move it.
Jason, should we screen share?
Can you guys not see it for yourselves?
Well, I can see it. I'm just our massive viewing public might.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay, Garrett, did you move the square? I think you did.
I did, just to test it out.
Yeah. Okay, so the blue one is your garrison troops, and the orange square are your archers. Okay.
All right, so I have is it 100 archers?
Yes. Now, in mass combat, I realize that you're going to want to spread them out. But in mass combat, like, spreading them out is a recipe for disaster. Like, they're designed to fire as a group. And if you spread them out, they're going to lose their effectiveness.
Oh, all right. Then let's not do what I said.
Don't have a hail of arrows coming down.
Right. So what you want to do is for the purposes of this, we're going to do a mass combat.
Okay.
So for those of you that have the rule book, warfare is the system, and it's chapter 10, and it starts on page 176. Now, you've only got 2 units on the board, but that's because your 3rd unit is deprived of its primary benefit, which is its horses.
Yes.
It doesn't have its cavalry. So rather than put it on the board as a 1/5 strength infantry unit, I'm going to say that it can just add a bonus dice to whatever regular unit you want to assign it to. Like it'll serve as like extra oomph.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if you assign it to your garrison guard, it'll give 1 full die additional on fighting tests. Or if you assign it to the archers, it'll give them an additional die of marksmanship. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
You can assign it to whichever of those 2 units you want.
Archers.
Okay. So they'll be functioning as protecting and guarding your archers, and that gives them a chance to sort of focus on their archery. This, by the way,
Exactly.
what we just did with your soldiers is what normally you would do with player characters. You can assign a player character who's not leading the battle to any of your units, and they give an additional die in fighting and marksmanship when that unit attacks. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. And that's called attaching a character to a unit. But since you're the only person, everybody else stayed behind, you don't have any characters to attach. The second thing we want to figure out is who are your leaders. Now, you have 2 units, which means you have room for a sub-commander, a second commander who would be assisting you in this battle. Unfortunately, they all went home. So you don't have any sub-commanders. That solves that problem. Now
It has to be a player character?
what's that?
It has to be a player character?
Well, strictly speaking, no, it does not. But we don't know who any of the other characters, like if we had a second in command of the archers, for example, as an NPC or red shirt, we could invent.
Yeah.
But what a sub commander does is he gives you an additional order. Like every round of battle, you have 1 more order that you can issue to your troops. And that commander can roll warfare and do things. But nobody else here is trained in warfare. None of the NPCs that are left behind are trained in warfare. You've placed your archers. Is your garrison? If you look on also if you look on our website, the stats for all of your armed forces are in the Forces of House Tanner page. Try and paste that in. Yeah. And you can see how far your troops can move, for example. Most of your troops can move 40 yards on their turn. Their discipline score is what you have to roll on your warfare test to get them to do what you tell them to do. And you can see their defense and their armor rating and their fighting damage and marksmanship damage and their health and all that good stuff. Okay, so moving back to our map. Garrett, are your guard units or infantry positioned where you want them to be?
Oh, no.
Okay, why don't you put them where you want them to be too?
Oops. I click on the right one. There we go.
It's kind of fussy.
So just give me a second here. Let me look at the range of these archers.
Your archers have range. I believe it's
Long range.
yeah, long range, which is well, one square is only 10 yards, so you can shoot basically anywhere on the map.
Okay.
But there's cover. They're from the trees. I mean that there's a potential defensive benefit
Sure.
from the cover, but your bows can effectively shoot anywhere on the map.
All right. I think that's a good place to start.
Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to roll some dice. James, you were the one providing us with our die roll room. Can you give me that link again? Or do we lose James? Is he around?
Sorry, I might muted there. I'm looking it up right now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate it. As you approach the ruins of South Hall, you can see the stone building. There seems to be no sign of life. It seems to be completely abandoned. When your footmen descend from the hill into the valley between your archers and the hall, it's almost like they get swallowed up by the fog. Like their spears point up out of the fog bank, but the men themselves are almost invisible to you. James gave us a link to a die roll room. And I'm going to roll some dice real quick. Here we go. See if I can remember how to do this. What's the command? Is it? James, help me out with how I do the die roll command.
Yeah. Here it's it's just so you need to do I think it's H.
Yep.
So it's so it'd be like 3d6 H.
Yeah. So yep, got it. Okay.
Would be like roll.
So should I roll tactics before this begins, or
You will not tactics. Tactics is for like small groups of like a dozen people. But your strategy and your warfare will be critical to this upcoming battle. And I'll get into that'll help determine the initiative and also how many actions you have in each round.
okay?
And you'll be rolling warfare a lot.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm good at that.
Yeah. But in the meantime, let's see. Anybody have perception? Awareness. Yeah. Okay. Your archers have awareness 12. Guards have awareness 12. Okay. All right. All right. So you don't see any sign of an enemy, but your instincts tell you they could be here.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So we're on, for those who care, we're on page 183, and you're going to roll initiative.
All right.
So this is a warfare test, and you use strategy.
I do not have strategy.
Oh, I thought you did.
Nope. Tactics and command.
Okay. You use your command a lot. Okay. So roll warfare to determine initiative.
All right. Oh Lord. 7
Okay.
on 4 dice.
Deb, do not laugh at your husband. It's so unfair.
You just got the wrong ones.
What do I roll to decide how many dice I keep? If I roll 4, how do I modify how many I keep? Hold 3?
It's just H and then the number. Yeah, H3 there. Keep 3.
Perfect. Okay, great.
The H is the highest. Keep 3 highest, basically.
Okay, great, good. Okay. All right. Well, Garrett, to no one's surprise, you lose initiative.
I demand a recount.
Nice. You still lose initiative.
Damn.
Okay. There is an option in there's a part of the warfare system in which individual players can do stuff while the mass battle is occurring. 1 round in mass combat is 10 rounds of the regular game. So if we had players in the group right now, like the mass combat could, before it even gets started, like one of you guys can run out and like do 5 rounds worth of shit before the rest of the mass combat happens. And then once that all happens, you can take 5 more rounds of stuff. And then the first round ends. Right? But through convenience, this has ended up with like the simplest possible mass combat because there's only 1 PC involved.
Yeah.
Okay. Garrett, you're looking at page 186, 187, which is the list of orders that you can give your units.
Not yet. So
that's all right. But in the meantime, I'm going to go first anyway.
Okay. We're back.
Okay. Somebody's drawing on the map. Saw that. Yeah, you erased it, but I still saw it.
Was trying to make a smiley face till you moved it.
Nice.
Dugan doesn't have a smiley face.
I tried to bluff the teacher, pretend I had a book, and I didn't. I got caught.
The perception of learning.
Perception of learning.
All right. Let's see.
Remind me what the red and white dots
I
were.
haven't mentioned them yet because you can't see them.
Aha.
I mean, red's probably Dugan.
We don't know that. We can't see them.
That's true.
Those dots don't exist.
That's right. They do not.
Neither does the blue because they're all hidden in the fog. So
what page was that on?
We're on page 186, 187.
Okay.
All right. So the bandits go first. You can't see them. I placed them on the board, but they're actually using stealth. So they're hiding from your troops, and they rolled higher than your troops' passive awareness, but not by much. And the bandits have 4 commands each turn, and they're going to start using them. And I'm showing you what's happening so that you can start to learn how the combat system, how the order system works. So I'm going to walk through what the NPCs are doing, what the bad guys are doing, and then that hopefully might help you see how it works when it gets to you, your turn. All right, so the first order is given to the white troops, which is the bandit rabble. And these are like trained criminals. And the order is given to them to ready an attack. And that uses 1 order. They're using the ready move, which means if someone gets within range, they'll attack. And then another order is given to the red unit, which is the bandits. These are the bandit troop, and they're trained guerrillas, and they're also going to attack at range. So you see thrown spears and thrown axes suddenly come out of the mist, out of the fog, launching into your infantry unit at a range of 20 yards. And that's using the attack. So they're just going to make a regular attack roll, and the bandits have marksmanship of 3. So they're going to roll 3 dice. You get a 12. What's the defense for your guards? They're 5. So they hit twice. So their damage of 3 becomes damage of 6. Your guards have armor rating of 3. So they take 3 points of health.
All right.
So they go from health 9 to health 6.
Jesus.
That's the second order. Then for the third order, excuse me. Oh, actually, I think I have to make a roll here. Hold on. If I give an order, they have to make a... Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to make warfare tests. I can't just do shit. I have to make rolls. Okay, so when I gave an order to a unit, I have to make a warfare test to get them to do it against the unit's discipline score. Okay? So first, the discipline of the bandit rabble, and I have to roll my warfare with the command specialization. So I'm rolling 4 dice and keeping 3. I only rolled a 9. I needed a 12 to do the ready action. So that action actually failed. They did not ready an attack. My second action was to command the bandits to attack at range. That unit only has a 9 discipline. So I'm rolling the same thing again. I succeed. So that attack actually happened and your troops took 3 points of health damage. Okay?
Okay.
Now I have my third order. I'm going to try to give a second order to the bandits that just attacked. I'm going to try to get them to defend. Now, because this is the second order I've given them, the difficulty to get them to do it goes up by 3. So instead of needing a regular discipline, which is 9, I now need a 12.
Okay.
Succeeded with a 16. So they come out, they throw their ranged weapons, their spears, their axes, their javelins, and then they take cover behind trees and prepared defenses, improvised defenses in the woods. I've got 1 order left. And I'm going to try to use it on the original bandit unit, the rabble, and try and get them to also defend. Because I failed my attempt to get them to ready an attack. But I'm going to try and get them to defend. But now I have a very high number. I have to get a 15 because the rabble does not like to obey orders. And I failed. So both of my commands against the bandit rabble failed. They didn't do anything this turn. I wasted 2 commands trying to get them to do stuff. But the regular bandits did as they were told. Okay? Does all that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So now I've used all of my orders, which was 4. What is Lord Ricard's warfare?
4.
Okay. You also have 4 orders. Okay?
Okay.
And if you want them to do something, your list of options is right there. We're not there are some advanced orders, but we're not going to use them. We're going to stick with the list that's here. You can have your units move, attack, charge. Your movement speed is 4 squares.
Okay.
Your units are all melee. The archers can shoot from where they are. I'm sorry, I forgot one thing. When the unit attacked from stealth, they got a bonus die. So I'm gonna, when they first attacked and they hit you twice, I'm gonna re-roll that. Instead of rolling 3 dice, they should be rolling 4 dice because they get a bonus die when they attack from stealth on the first turn. Which does an additional 3 points of damage. So your Your infantry troop, instead of taking 3, has taken 6.
Jesus.
Yes.
My time to go?
I think so, yes. Now, you can remove damage. There's a regroup command that allows you to remove damage from one of your units.
Yep.
And the unit is not immediately destroyed when it's reduced to 0 health. It's just disorganized. You can try to reorganize it and keep it in the battle.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
Right? That just reflects it sort of losing its morale, and it becomes disorganized if it goes to 0 health. Okay.
All right.
All right. It's your turn.
Well,
So-
I'm going to order my archers to attack.
Okay. Attack the red unit.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's the bandits, and they are defending. So they're going to roll. I have notes for how defense works. One second. Okay, here we go. So their combat defense is going to be randomly determined. 2d6 plus 5. Okay, so the bandits have a defense of 14. Okay. So go ahead and roll your first. You have to get them to do what you want. So you have to hit the discipline number of the archers.
All right. So is this when command takes place?
Yes, exactly.
All right.
So you're rolling. What's your command?
1.
Okay, so you're rolling 5 dice and keeping 4.
Yep.
And don't forget about your, if you have any destiny or glory or anything else that you might want to spend. So you needed a 9 for the archers.
I got a 15.
Okay, great. You succeed. So they successfully carry out your order. So they're going to attack.
All right.
So roll their marksmanship of 3, but your target number is 14.
10.
Okay, so they miss. The bandits are hiding behind the trees, and the attack misses.
Good.
But I want to note, you can just shoot again. As long as you can keep making the discipline numbers, a unit can do as many actions as you give them orders.
But I can go and give them 4 orders.
You have 4 orders. That's correct.
Yeah. Yeah, but 3 dice, and they got to hit a 14.
Yep.
So the guard,
Yes.
I'm going to have them. I want them to move and attack.
Yes. Do you want them to now? Do you want them to charge or just move?
Let me check.
Because charging will make it harder for them to hit, but they will get more damage.
Just move.
Okay, so that's 1 order. Okay, so roll their discipline.
Just 9.
Oh, second. 9.
Okay, you succeed. Move them 4 squares in any direction. Attacking up the hill is going to be a penalty.
Can I move to here?
I'm sorry, I don't see any movement on the map.
You gotta put
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, good. So you wheel them up the hillside? Yep,
Around the south side and up the hill?
yep. And you're going to attack the bandits, the red?
I am.
Okay, so now you need a second command, and now the difficulty is 3 higher.
No, 12.
19.
You succeed. So now your unit attacks the bandits. Now they have the same defense as before. It works for the whole turn.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll their fighting of 3.
Man, fighting 3. 15.
You hit. So you do your fighting damage is 3. The bandits have armor of 1, so they take 2.
Okay.
So let me make a note of that. I heard somebody want to Tanner, will you keep track of some health damage for me?
Sure.
Started off with 6 health, so now they're at 4. All right, Garrett, you got 1 action left.
Yep.
It's a 15 to get the guards to act again. It's a 12 to get the archers to act again.
Right. I'm looking up defend.
Defend they would roll agility, which your archers would be good at, but your soldiers would not be as good at. And then they would get a +5 bonus for the trees and the fog. And that would be their new combat defense for the turn. It would definitely help them, but you would it would definitely help them because their current defense is, I think, only 5. Yeah. So no matter what, they would get a benefit from it if you can successfully do it.
But I need a 15.
Yes, you do.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have them defend.
Okay, roll.
No, 13.
Okay, so your turn is over.
14.
Glory or destiny?
You have to spend those before you roll.
Ah.
I don't think I. Oh yeah, I do. Never mind.
I think you have 1 destiny point.
No, I don't think I have any destiny, but I have 2 glory.
Oh, there you go. Those count as bonus dice. You can spend them at any time.
Okay.
All right, go back to initiative. You get to reroll initiative.
Oh.
That's good for you. Yes.
15.
You win.
Woohoo!
Now let's do a little bit of narrative here so we can catch up with what's going on and what does Will Tan or what does Lord Tanner see?
Okay.
Where is Lord Tanner?
Where is Lord Tanner?
Yeah.
Well, he's in amongst his guard giving orders.
Okay, so he's down there amongst the guards.
Yeah.
And not like in another place with like sending a couple of his men to like carry his orders for him.
Okay. Damn it. That would make more sense.
Well, then you can do that. I mean, this is a slow moving mass combat. You can decide where you want to be.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to have people run off my orders.
All right. So you've got like some of your 20 cavalrymen, and you've kept a few of them behind to be like your runners.
Yeah.
Okay. And whereabouts are you?
All right. I'm going to say, we're the east of the blue dot.
Yep.
Yeah. Back there, maybe the next square over.
Back there. Okay. So you're like behind your infantry troops.
Yes.
Okay. Nice. Smiley face. Okay, good. Yes. All right. All right. Very good. All right. Well, you have 4 orders again, sir.
All right. Well, now this mass combat and archery, I mean, can that happen while we're doing mass combat while I'm there?
I'm sorry. I guess I don't understand the question.
I'm worried about hitting my own men.
Oh, that's not a concern.
Then I'll have the archers.
I don't believe so. If you're, what do you think? Would it be? I mean, in this case, I don't. Your archers have a clear line of fire.
Okay.
Your own infantry is not in the way.
All
Your
right.
infantry are off to the side. So I think they have a clear line of fire. So in this case, I'm not going to penalize you.
All right. So the archers fire.
Who are they attacking?
Red.
Okay. They still have their defense of 14.
I need to hit 9.
Right. I hit a 14.
Is that your command or their attack roll?
Oh, command. Hold on.
All right, that's fine. So, I mean, they're different die rolls anyway, so you can keep the attack roll, but you still have to get a 9 on your warfare command roll to get them to do it.
All right. Holy crap. 7.
Okay, so you give the order, but it doesn't, like your scout carrying the message gets lost in the fog and doesn't arrive on time.
All right.
You have to spend a second order, but now you need a 12.
I'm going to do it again.
Okay, now you need a 12.
My order. Yeah, no problem.
All right, now you already rolled the attack roll, so we'll let you keep it, and you hit them. Right. So your archers do damage of 5.
Yeah.
5.
So they have armor of 1, so they're going to take 4. And I think, Tanner, that's all the health they had, right?
It is. Okay.
So the the bandits become disorganized. And what that means is that they can still fight, but they have a big penalty until they get rallied. Okay?
All right.
You still have 2 more orders, sir.
All right. I'm gonna have my men attack them.
Okay. First, make your command.
Command.
9.
Yeah, no problem with the command.
Okay, so now they attack with their fighting of 3.
$12.
Fails. Their defense is still 14.
Okay.
You got 1 more order.
And then I'm going to order them to defend.
Okay, now you need a 12.
No problem.
Okay, so now roll 2 dice and add 5.
17.
That's the new defense value for your infantry.
Excellent.
Okay, that's going to last all turn. All right, now it's the bandit's turn.
Hold on.
Okay, well, the bandit leader is going to try to rally her infantry. The group it's disorganized. It takes a 1 die penalty on all, it loses 1 die on all tests, and its discipline difficulty increases by 3. It can still receive orders and fight, but it's significantly weakened. If it takes any damage again, it routs. So she's going to try and organize it. That's the rally order. She needs a 9. She's rolling 4 dice, keep 3. No, she needs a 12 because they're disorganized. She gets a 15. So the unit is now organized again. Oh, hold on, to get it right? Yeah, organized. Okay, so here's what happens to the unit. It keeps all of the penalties, which means the bandits are still -1 die on everything, and its discipline difficulty is still higher, but it regains all of its health. So Will Tanner, that unit's health is back up to 6, but now it can't fight as well because it's got penalties on everything.
Got it.
Then she's going to order the white unit, the bandit rabble, to attack your infantry. She needs a 12 on this. She fails. Goddamn bandits. They're useless. Useless! She now... God, what are we going to do? Okay. She will try to rally her... no, they all have all their hit points. They have all their health. Okay. Let's try to get an attack again then. Okay, so we had a 12 before. So they need a, so it's a she's gonna try to order the bandits to attack, and now she needs a 15. Fails. This is getting bad. She'll try to get the rabble to attack. She needs a 15. She fails. Well, she successfully organized the bandits. But that's it for her turn.
All right.
Roll initiative.
$12.
10. You go first.
Archers.
Yes.
I order them.
Her troops didn't get to defend this turn, so her defense is much, much lower.
Okay.
This will probably do it.
The archers heard my command.
Yep, good. Okay, make their attack.
$15.
Combat defense is 6, so you hit twice. So your damage of 5 is doubled to 10. They have armor rating of 1, so they take 9. And they go from +6 to -3.
Woohoo!
Which means they're disorganized again. And if they take any damage, they rout.
All right. I'm going to have my.
That's only your first order. You got 2 more orders.
What's that?
Yeah, that's only your first order. You have 3 more.
Yep. I'm going to order my men to attack,
Okay.
which they do.
Okay. Yeah, you needed a 9.
Well, yeah.
Roll fighting.
Yep. I got a fighting of 12.
You hit them twice, so your melee damage of, I think, 3 becomes 6. They have armor of 1. They take 5. They're already disorganized, so they rout. And they were all Tanner, what was their health at?
Is that -3?
Okay, so they're only routed. They're not destroyed, but they are routed. Their formation changes to a mob, and at the end of the attacking player's turn, which is your turn, they will sprint away from the attacking unit. They're running.
Okay.
You break the bandits' morale, slaughter many of them, and they are now gonna start running away.
Right.
If it takes more damage, it is destroyed. You can slaughter all of them, or almost all of them, if you damage them again.
All right. Well, I will attack them again.
Okay, now you need a 12.
Need 12. Yep. I got it.
Okay, roll your fighting, 3 dice.
What?
Roll your fighting, which I think is 3 dice.
Ooh. 15.
You destroy the unit. You slaughter them.
Good.
You have 1 order left.
Defend.
Okay. Now you need a 15. If you're using the same, if you mean the infantry, you need a 15.
Yep. No problem.
Okay. Roll 2 dice and add 5.
11.
Okay, that's your new defense. All right. Well, the bandit leader is hard pressed. She's just lost her best unit. She is going to try to fighting withdrawal. Attack and then pull back. So that is going to be she needs a 12 on her command. Fails. Goddamn bandit rabble. You are useless. I can't believe. Okay, she'll try. Now she'll just try to move them. She needs a 15 on this. She succeeds. They run.
That's the order they follow.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Classic. All right, but they run off the battlefield and they escape. They run off into the woods.
All
And you
right.
win. The battle is won. The Battle of South Hall, you are victorious. You get 1 point of glory. Thank you. Excellent. And now we can determine what kind of damage your troops took.
So they took 6 out of 9.
Okay, good. We're on page 188, and we can look at the resolution and consequences. Let's see. Okay, here are units and casualties. Okay, if the unit was units that participated in the engagement likely lost men. For each unit, roll 1 die 6. So Garrett, roll 1 die 6 for your unit, and we're rolling under the damaged column.
A 1.
That's bad. Okay.
If it's bad or good.
A lot of the trained members of the unit were killed. So your unit, like all that's left are like apparently, like, so there you go. That's what happened when the bandits threw out their javelins and spears and axes in the first round, and they hit you really hard. They obviously had instructions to attack all of your officers, and so like all of your officers got killed, and the unit exists still; it survives, but it lost 2 levels of training. So instead of being trained, I think they're now green. And then roll 1 die 6 for the enemy unit that you destroyed.
6.
Funny. Okay. Well, you got the worst result, and they got the best.
Of course.
But you won the battle. The bad news is basically that means the bandits are still around, and you've won the battle, but you have not won the war.
Too lenient, my lord.
What column were we doing on?
You were using the damaged column.
For them?
No, for yourself, and they were using the destroyed column. On page 189. You see it?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was just... All right.
Yep.
I was looking for some modifiers, but I guess it's only for disorganized.
Right. And they went all the way to destroyed.
It's weird.
Okay, so you lost some men, but you won. Okay, I'm going to turn off the screen share and get back to looking and talking at everyone. Okay, and it's 10:30, so we've got about half an hour left. All right. Well, so you rout about half of the bandits. You kill many. The remaining band, and there were a total of about 200 fighting bandits in their quote unquote army. About half of them were lightly armed axemen, lightly armored axemen, and the other half were using light ranged weapons like spears and throwing axes. They were all wearing the lightest of armor, like leather armor. And your troops secure the area, and you find the remains of the bandit camp. Looks like 50 or several dozen families have been living in these ruins for some time. And you find the corpses of your friends and vassals.
Dun dun dun.
Benjamin Bearslayer's head is on a pole in the middle of the keep.
That's not nice.
And Corlin Jast's remains are a bloody heap in one corner.
Well, I'll have them wrapped up and returned.
Okay.
Don't forget about
what's that?
Don't forget. There's also the sorry. Oh man, what's the guy's name?
There's Longarm, the kid. And also, I think there was like 1 or 2 like red shirt guards. Didn't they get killed?
We had one of our NPC people that were our listeners that was still alive at one point.
I think it was Bob. I think it was like Bob and something else.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Jim. That's right. Yeah. Well, I think they sent one to go deliver the ransom note.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
The other one had been killed, right? So
right.
okay, so they're both gone. Okay. Ricard, you walk the empty empty floors of South Hall, and you have won the day, but your guards took a lot of important casualties. What would you like? What is your next move?
Well, is to see if we can find, question people, see if we can find Drugan.
Do you have some kind of, what's the skill that we use to, is it intimidation? We have intimidate? It's been so long since I played, I've forgotten all of our skills.
I do not have intimidate. I have persuasion with convince.
Okay, so you can try to convince one of the prisoners to give you information?
Yes.
I'll stop
Convince.
poking you if you.
What's that?
Go ahead, Deb.
I'll stop putting this knife in your wound if you tell me where he is.
That would be intimidation. He's not as good at that. Believe it or not, Ricard is better when he's using convincing, which is logical debate, like logical reasoning. Like, look, this is in your own best interests.
Yep.
I'll help you, you help me. Kind of.
Yep.
A forceful argument. Go ahead and roll persuasion convince.
$14.
All right. One of the bandits.
Sorry. No, yeah, 14. I was right.
One of the bandits agrees to tell you what he knows if you get him medical care. He doesn't die.
Okay.
All right. So meanwhile, back at the castle, Maina, what you are wounded and injured, and you're going to need to make a die roll to not die.
Woo!
The good news is that the Meister can roll his medicine instead of your shitty ass endurance check to give you a better chance of actually succeeding at this roll. Okay?
I like that plan. Maina likes that plan.
Yes, and if you're being cared for, if they botch, they don't kill you.
Yeah.
Your own roll, you can die.
Yeah, they can't make it worse. Meister Duncan's medicine skill does not have injury penalties like your endurance does. So, Maina, why don't you roll for Meister Duncan, his medicine. Wait a minute. Don't tell me he doesn't have it. He's like the world. Oh, there it is. Heal. Okay. His healing is 4 dice, treat injury, 2 bonus. So roll 6 and keep 4.
$20.
Okay, well, the difficulty was 12, so you succeeded with 2 degrees of injury. So you recover 2 of your injuries, which is the only 2 you had. Okay. But your wound will take more time to heal. You won't roll for that until a week goes by. Okay. But he's assigned you permanent bed rest. So don't get out of bed, and you have nurses taking care of you. What about the rest of you all? Oh, let's get okay. So, James.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember when Will Tanner took the poem from the inside of the shield to Fat Castle and showed it to him?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Fat Castle was like, "That doesn't mean anything. That's a stupid children's story." Yes, you were lying. You were lying your fat ass off. Okay?
Your fat castle off.
Yes, you were lying your fat castle ass off. In actuality, you know exactly what that poem was talking about, and you know what the clues mean. Sort of. Okay, so let's go back to the rhyme. Will, can you repeat the riddle that you got off of the shield for us all?
Did I write it down?
If not, I have it.
I don't think I wrote it down.
First one, then two, up for 3, down for 4.
Yes, exactly. Okay. All right, so Fat Castle, you know that there's a location inside the forest.
Okay.
I'm going to show you a master map of the forest because you are Jack Fat Castle and you have been everywhere in this fucking forest, okay? Okay.
That bastard has been playing dumb with me.
Yes, he's totally been playing you. Yes.
I'm easily deceived, though. I get it.
All right, so you see the map?
Yep, I can see it.
This is a complete map of everything inside the forest.
Okay.
The numbered 1 through 7 are ruins, and the PCs have explored most of them, but not all of them. The red star in the middle of the forest is a weirwood, the old ways, yeah, tree in the middle of the forest. This big yellow dot that says Outlaw Camp, that is where, that is the second primary outlaw camp. If the first one is at South Hall, where the big fight just took place, a second large group of outlaws led by a woman who's a rival to Dugan the Red, who commands her own group of military forces inside the forest. That's her camp. And you generally avoid that place because she's a bitch.
Yeah. Don't like her.
You don't like her.
Okay.
Trying to get my... Here we go. Yeah, her name is Thalia. Thalia Pem. I'm going to write that in the chat window. Thalia Pem is a rival to Dugan the Red. She's based at the Outlaw Camp.
Okay.
You see the Old Forest Road. And the only thing that you don't know about on this map is the yellow box that says Sarah's Camp.
Okay.
Okay. That's small and local, and you haven't discovered it yet.
Okay. So
you know that there is a curious architectural feature at location 4 that you think the riddle might apply to.
okay.
Okay? So after Will told you the riddle, you promptly got some supplies together and headed out into the woods. Tanner's shaking his head.
I wish him ill. We could have done this together.
Yes. And of course I went myself.
Of course, yeah, because you know that there's a legend of a treasure, of a Targaryen treasure buried somewhere in the forest. So you took big giant sacks to haul all the gold home with, and some digging supplies, and you're heading off into the forest. Okay. All right, you arrive and you did this. This is actually happening the very night that the PCs are all captured.
All right.
Now, at first, you were just gonna yeah. So all right. So you head off into the woods.
Okay.
And you arrive. You travel through the woods pretty safely because you know a lot of the people that live in here by name, and you know the terrain very well. And you arrive in the middle of the night at location 4. It's about a mile from the weirwood tree, and it's overlooking the old road. There's a small stone building, which was once constructed to house guards, back when House Targaryen had a banner house that ran the forest.
Okay.
there's a well in the middle of the foundation, but the roof is gone, and much of the stone from the building has been taken by natives of the forest to build other buildings with. But around the well, there's a sequence of 12 stones that make up the circle of the well, like edge stones. Okay. And there's this ring of 12 stones, all kind of wedge shaped, and they're numbered. This is an old, that like numbers have been carved into each stone, 1 through 12.
Okay, so it's like they're in order around.
Yeah, exactly. And you never, it was just an idle, strange bit of the architecture until you heard the riddle.
Okay.
And the numbers are actually hash marks. So like one stone has like 1 mark, and then 2 marks, and then 3 marks, all the way to 12.
Okay.
Okay. Do you need a copy of the riddle again?
Yeah.
First,
give me a copy.
First 1, then 2, up for 3, down for 4. Yep. Yep.
That's the whole riddle?
That's it.
Okay. First 1, then 2.
Yep.
So I'll try to push on the 1 stone, see if it moves.
It's sunk deep into the ground. It's and they're all kind of like sort of mortared together. I mean, they built the well here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you push on it, but nothing happens.
Okay. Seeing. Okay, so up for 3, down for 4.
As a clue, you also know that Rugar Hold, the ruined castle, which the PCs explored, actually, the 3rd floor of that hall also has strange numbers on the rooms. But that's the second half of the riddle. You think this might be the first half of the riddle?
First 1, then 2.
Yep.
I'm stumped. I have my guys fanning around, looking to see if there are any other marks around.
Sure.
Different stones.
Is there
into the well? People looking around for something.
Roll cunning. Do you have stats for Fat Castle? I thought he had a page.
No.
Tanner NPCs.
Oh yeah.
Yep. You've got cunning of 3.
I wonder if they're pointing to something. 2 stones like this. 1 and 2.
So I have.
If anybody else wants to help, you can chime in. This can be a group project.
I still think it's a sign of the cross, but hey, 1, 2, 3, and then 4.
Is that from the puzzle or a meta knowledge of Jason?
So it's a well, so it's a circular pattern, right?
It's a circle with 12 stones around the outside, and they have hash marks 1 through 12.
Maybe like a 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, noon, and 6 kind of pattern, whatever numbers those would correspond to.
The thing is that none of the stones move or do anything like that, right? So
well, you pushed on the first one and it didn't move. I mean, it's sunken. I mean, it's mortared to all of the others.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like I'm looking for a loose stone.
Right.
Maybe the hash marks from 1 and 2, if you look at them as an angle, point to someplace off in the forest.
You start looking for loose stones, and which stone do you think is loose? You just try them all?
Yeah, we're just going around. He was going for 1, then he tried number 2.
All right. Well, you end up finding it's actually number 12. Right?
Okay.
First one, then two.
Ah.
But you try one and you try two, and then you keep going until finally you get all the way around to the last one, and the stone comes up.
Yes, because I rolled 10 on my cunning die.
No, you just tried it all.
I'm cunning. That's cunning.
And underneath the stone is a key, a silver key.
Oh.
Okay, maybe we need to go to the 3rd floor with this key.
Yeah.
The 4th door.
Yeah. That sounds exactly what I think too.
Okay. All right. So you take out the key.
Like a regular key, right? It looks like a.
It's a small silver key. It's like the size of your pinky.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
It's buried in the mud. Probably been there for a century, maybe 2.
Take that. That's cool.
Okay.
And then I'm going to.
Well, you can smell that money now.
Yeah, and I know that there's the what was it called here? It's the ruins to the north. I can't remember what we called it. Ruger Hall.
Rugar Hall. Rugar Hold. Yes. Rugar Hold.
Ruger Hold. Multiple floors. I'm thinking that the 3rd floor.
Yep.
Is going to have some door or something that this key will open.
So are you heading next to Rugar Hold?
So the problem with that is it's the middle of the night.
Yep.
And there's no road from here to there without going through that bitch's camp.
Well, no, you can go to the old forest road, the big black line. Right, I'll show you again.
Oh yeah, the road that the caravans kind of go through.
Yes. The old south road is the big black line.
Oh, the big. Oh, I can go. Oh, I can just go south to there.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can just take the old south road, the old forest road, right to Rugar Hold.
How many hours is that going to be?
Well, it's already the middle of the night. It's going to probably take you. It's going to be dawn before you get there.
All right. If I know of some place along that route that we can stop,
yep,
the rest, I will, because I don't see any.
You can rest at the weirwood tree.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. All right. So you go to the weirwood tree. It's generally speaking, people don't fight there. It's a place of it's a no fighting zone.
Yeah, it's a truce.
Elysium?
Yeah. And to quote our old vampire games, sure. Yes.
Yeah, no one ever fights here. Wink, wink.
It's been a long time since I talked about the Elysium in our vampire game. That was a long time ago. Flashback from Die. Thank you.
Welcome.
There's a clearing here, a center of a small clearing, and there's a flock of ravens that live in the tree. Surrounding the weirwood, that particular tree. I can't remember if the weirwood is the name of just the tree or if it's the name of like the whole grove.
No, I think it's the tree.
Okay.
Just it's the type of tree.
There are bones, big, black, enormously big bones from some monstrous animal that stick up out of the ground in this clearing, like right around the tree. And of course, Fat Castle, you know the old legend of the Wyvern Wood, that supposedly it sprang from the blood of a wyvern that was killed here by an ancient hero of the first men. And supposedly that's what these bones are. They're the bones of the wyvern from which the forest sprang. You camp at the weirwood. You see travelers coming, a small group. Actually, not that small, maybe about a dozen people coming your way.
So I make sure we don't have anything suspicious.
Sure.
Around.
Yep.
And my guys know, like when we're out doing things at night, we do this kind of thing. We're just traveling merchants. We don't try to hide who I am. So
everybody in the forest knows you, Fat Castle. You're like a celebrity. But
we're doing. We always have this thing. It's like, hey, we're just traveling.
Okay.
Not more particular.
Okay. And you quickly realize that it's Thalia Pam and her bodyguard. And they appear to be moving pretty quickly south.
Are they heading through the Weirwood, or are they just going to go by us?
Well, no, she's going to the Weirwood because it's a known landmark on her way to wherever she's going. She's coming from the north. She's coming from her camp. And as she breaks out into the clearing, she sees you along with her guards. These are all like her soldiers. And like there's two leaders in the forest. Dugan the Red is the guy that runs things because everybody admires and respects him, and he's been here since he was a kid, and he's helped everybody in the forest, and he's like, he's like Robin Hood with an attitude. Thalia commands people, and they obey her out of fear, right? Because she will punish them if they don't obey her. So her soldiers are like very yes ma'am, no ma'am, right away ma'am. And they travel into the Weirwood, and they're on their way south, but they see you, and Thalia pauses and walks over towards you with a couple of her soldiers.
Thalia! Thalia! Ah, what a wonderful night to run into an old friend.
She looks you up and down. No, you still can't get in my pants.
Ah, a man must try.
What are you doing out here?
Oh, transporting goods, traveling through.
She looks you up and down. Doesn't see you transporting anything. I don't think you're transporting anything except that enormous tub of lard you call a stomach.
Oh, it can hold a lot to transport.
Well, you should.
Looks like the night has been busy for somebody.
The rumor is Dugan has captured the princeling Lord Tanner. Do you know anything?
No, first I've heard of it.
And that's true. This is the first you've heard of it. And
yeah.
although you did betray Will about the treasure, I mean, it's treasure. You're greedy. Yeah. Of course you betrayed him.
No, I like the Lordling.
Yeah, you do. You like him.
Yeah, I do.
He's a good
patronage.
Plus, you know that if he becomes Lord Tanner and his best friend is you, your future is made.
I know.
Yeah. This guy is your meal ticket, man.
Yeah. I mean, if he happened to die, I'm not exactly gonna think, but I'll buy him a beer. His friends a beer to help him commiserate and be sad of my lost opportunity.
Yeah.
But
well, he would be a little sad because he's a nice guy and he looks up to you.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
Everybody else says bad shit about you, but Will, he believes all those stories you tell him, and he thinks that you're a god.
Who's that?
Kid, what can I say?
All right. Anyway, so she says you haven't heard anything?
No, I haven't. I have actually been in the woods tonight on an errand. Hopefully not, honestly, to run into anyone. But
an errand? What kind of errand? I thought you quit all this.
Some favors must be paid one way or the other.
Roll your deception.
All right. What do we got for deception here?
4 dice.
I got 4?
Yeah, because you are Derek Fatcastle and you lie like a son of a bitch.
18.
Okay.
I do lie like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, you do. She says, you're paying off your bar tab again, right? There's no other reason why you'd be out here in the middle of the night.
Yes.
Well, listen, and I say this because sometimes I almost like you. If these rumors are true, then Lord Tanner will be invading the forest by dawn. So you should pick an army or get the hell out.
Well, I will. I'm getting out. And my advice to you is to don't challenge Lord Tanner on this. I have seen him around his son, and if something's wrong, I would offer your assist. I would do whatever he asks of you. This is not a fight that you want to get into.
This is my forest. Nobody knows these woods better than us. We can fight off 1,000 men in here. She says, not realizing that her troops are about to get massacred.
Yeah. But
I'm not afraid of House Tanner. They should be afraid of us.
oh,
Come on. She gestures to her men. Don't say I didn't warn you.
and I thank you for the warning and bear heed.
All right, they take off.
Yep.
The rest of your night is uneventful, but you just know somewhere out there in the woods, it's poor Will running his ass off.
Well, we are going to break camp and head for the north and head for the keep.
So dawn comes, you break camp, and you travel along the Old South Road. Travel is slow. I mean, you know the way, but it takes you about 2 hours. Takes you about an hour to reach the road, and then about 3 or 4 hours to reach Rugar's Hold. So it's probably late morning, not quite noon yet by the time you reach the keep. If you remember from a month ago, the castle is in pretty bad condition. It's not very large. Its walls were wood. It's original because this is a very old castle. Its walls were wood, and they didn't enclose a very large area. And in some places, the walls are about to collapse. But inside that courtyard, there's stables, a bunkhouse, again, very poor shape, probably going to need to be torn down. Then there's a stone keep, which is relatively large. And it's got multiple floors. And you know that the third floor of the keep, there's a weird numbering thing. You don't remember the details, but when you get up there, you'll find it.
All right. We're going to move quickly into the keep.
Okay.
Guys, there's
When
going to be.
when you say we, it's just you. You are alone.
I thought I had some guys with me. The sacks.
You want the money, man. They would stab you in a second.
So I'm not here alone. I thought I came with some guys.
No, you're alone. You don't trust your guys to not stab you when you find the treasure.
All right.
You don't want to share it with them. They would not share.
All right. I am going to.
You know who would share? Will. Will would share.
Damn straight.
Damn straight. All right.
It's been on beer.
You climb up the stairs of the keep. You arrive on the third floor. all of the archways that lead to various rooms on the third floor are numbered in the keystone of the arch. And again, they're hash marks, just like around the well.
Okay. So first thing, so it's the third floor.
Yep.
The one with the 4 on it.
Okay, so you go to the 4, and it's not a room that you would suspect. It's a garderobe. It's a toilet.
All right. I look around.
Okay, so we're talking about, like, it's a tiny little closet. It's not even a room. It's like a little niche off of the hallway.
Yeah.
And there's literally a shelf where you would put your ass, and a hole in the middle of the stone floor, in the middle of the shelf.
Yeah.
That actually leads outside the castle. I mean, you are basically shitting outside the castle. And this is it. Like, this is the entire room 4. It's like 2 feet wide, 1.5 feet deep, with a bench that you would sit on and a hole in that bench.
All right. I get out my my knife. I assume I have a knife on me or something.
Sure.
And I just start poking around. I'm looking for something that moves.
Okay, you spend a good hour or so investigating this garderobe. Nothing is moving. Anybody else want to help him? Like, what does he got to do? Like,
Well, you got a key, so looking for any kind of hole that you might be able to.
There's no keyhole.
Okay.
Well, if it's something outside.
Or so down for 4. So maybe how big is this hole that you would normally?
So, like, imagine a stone bench that's about 3 feet wide and about 1 foot deep. And in the middle of that bench is a hole. It's just like an outhouse, right? And
Right.
the hole doesn't lead inside the castle.
Right, at least
Yes.
yeah. Well, I'm thinking, yeah, since it goes out,
It allows you to
goes
basically
down,
outside the castle, and your poop would fall down to the ground.
and it says down for 4. So I'm wondering if somewhere in that hole, further
Yeah, you see the
down.
hole. Right now, James, if you look through the hole, you just see sky. You see like the ground underneath you, down 3 floors.
Okay.
Maybe where the hole comes.
Yeah, there's
out?
basically a sewage pit.
Maybe down where it comes out for down for 4. Maybe it's on the outside of the castle or the keep.
Could a large man fit down that hole?
No.
I would love nothing more than Fat Castle to slide down through a privy hole.
Yes.
Yes, I thought maybe there was a lock inside the hole
Have
someplace.
pride that he was not above sticking his hand down the privy hole to look for a keyhole or anything like that.
Right. So I'm obviously not describing this properly. So I'm gonna try another map here. Let me give you guys a link to just an empty drawing where I'm gonna make a very brief sketch. Okay, so let me get a pencil.
Didn't get my note about lunch until 4. Oh, well, this weekend was so it was $5 for strawberry sandwiches. Didn't even fly. F you.
All right, so this is my super ugly map. Okay. That little stick. So this is the tower.
Okay.
And on the 3rd floor of the tower, I've drawn Fat Castle, his little stick figure. And there's a ledge that you sit on for the privy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hole in that seat. And if you sat on the hole and shit, it would fall out of the tower and hit the ground.
Yes.
And where it does that, there's a huge stinking pit.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, it's probably not as stinky and huge anymore. How long have the fences anybody sat there in?
Well, it's just covered over with dirt and grass.
Okay. So I got all this. And if you're leading towards Fat Castle, climbing back down all the stairs and digging around in a sewage pit, he's going to search this damn garderobe for a while first.
You do so.
But eventually he will go down below.
What's that?
But eventually he will go down below.
Yeah, so eventually you're forced to come to the conclusion that down for 4 means where the garderobe hole would lead and the refuse pit at the side of the castle.
Yes.
And you're going to have to dig your way. You're going to have to dig into the refuse pit, the shit pile.
Yep. That's why he searched the garderobe for a good long time.
Yeah.
I hope your reward is knowledge.
Yes, because knowing is half the battle, and the other half is drinking until you forget this stupid riddle.
Good luck spending knowledge to get beer.
All right.
Well, right around the time that you are digging your way through the shit pile is when the forces of House Tanner are fighting the Thalia Pem's bandits and Dugan the Red at South Hold. A battle which turns out to be inconclusive because the bandits escape. And you spend much of the day digging. And at the end of the day, you are 5 feet down in a pile of century-old crap.
Basically, very, very rich compost. And not rich in the best of ways.
Right. And your shovel hits something solid.
Hey.
And you pull out of the sucking earth a chest marked with the crest of House Targaryen.
All right. I open the chest. I don't even get out of the damn hole.
It's an iron chest. You put in the key, it opens easily. And inside is hundreds of gold dragons.
I close the chest.
Okay.
And lock it again.
Okay.
And then hug it.
Mine, oh mine! Like Donald Duck in that old cartoon.
Is it worth it?
It was all worth it.
Let's call it there for tonight.
All right.
And
castle going, it was worth it. It was worth it.
Let's get XP for everyone and some glory. Lord Tanner got a glory for winning the battle, but the bandits are still out there, so you did not claim the forest or anything. So I might have some additional consequences or benefits from it, but I think that the battle for the forest is still ongoing. I think the bandits escaped.
Yes.
And you also took some damage to your garrison unit, which I'll modify on the website. And then for XP, everybody tonight will get find it. Here we are, narrator. Let's see. Well, Fat Castle gets money, lots and lots of money. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Everybody else take 2 XP. And James, you can keep playing Fat Castle for a while if you want, if you intend on getting involved in the story. If you're just running off with the money, then you should make a new character.
Fat Castle's going to take this money and get involved.
Okay.
I like Fat Castle. I think he'll be a fun character to play.
All right, so we'll stick with him. I'll look at him and his stats. He'll probably start gaining. We may just rewrite him as a PC, and that will give you some XP and some benefits and drawbacks and stuff. We can't change anything that he's got. I made him as an NPC because he has Craven, the flaw Craven, which means he's afraid of combat. So most players would never want to play that.
That sounds like fun.
Okay. Deb, we have an opportunity to bring in a potential character. You were talking about playing a bandit earlier. Lord Tanner has brought back a bandit who has been willing to trade information for healing. That might be your character.
Okay.
Okay. If you're willing to play, if you want to play a bandit, that could be that person.
Yeah, I think that might be fun.
Okay. Good. Everyone will be back to their regular characters next game. Then Gemma and Will and the rest of the gang, and we'll pick up back at Tannerton, except for Fat Castle, who may suddenly show up richer than sin, and making up whatever story he wants to make up.
Finally, maybe buying a few rounds for one.
Yeah, exactly. Don't count on it.
You can't have a great story to get people to buy him rounds for.
Lord Tanner, you can decide what your next step is with the bandits of the forest. Sure. I presume that your troops are not staying at the keep, but they could be. At the moment, they're still at the keep.
Yeah. Are
you planning on leaving them there, or like leaving some of them? Do you want to garrison the keep and the South Hall with some troops and pull the rest back, or like what would you like to do so I can maybe prepare for next game?
Yeah, I'm going to garrison some.
Okay, like maybe like you leave one of your units there and bring the others back. Like you could leave the archers there, or you could leave the garrison troops there.
Pearsons don't really have any leaders anymore, so
Yeah. It's archers.
Okay. All right. We'll pick up there next game. I might pass some time as well, that because I think we were at the end of one of our monthly house turns, so we might roll for house fortunes and all that stuff at the beginning of next game. Okay.
Okay. Sounds great.
Anybody else? Okay. Thanks everybody for your patience as you walked through the battle and then caught up with Fat Castle.
Fun.
Thanks, Jason. Night, everybody.